A lot has happened uh, over the
Yeah.
last few weeks. But I do want to
Mm.
start by saying a rest in power to Jesse Jackson. His funeral
Keep
just
hope
just took
alive.
place. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
was,
drama at the funeral.
yeah. I'm a Chicago South Side kid, so I met Afro Jesse. Yeah, that was my
Okay,
first exposure. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
as opposed to
Operation
Slickback Jesse.
Breadbasket. Yeah, like literally, there was all of that stuff was South Side of Chicago stuff. So
Mm.
I have just very strong memories of Jesse Jackson as a presence, in Chicago when I was a kid. I mean, it was a very political town even then.
Yeah.
Especially then. With the everything that happened with the Democratic National Convention in '68, and the
Mm.
Daley administration, and Jesse Jackson was one of the voices that just kind of rose up out of that space, as like the first post activist, you know. I mean, for me, Angela
Yeah.
Davis was out there doing what she was doing, but just on a local level, it's like, oh, he's here, and the last presence that had been experienced like that in Chicago had
Mm.
been, the Nation of Islam movement, and that was, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and
Mm.
and Louis Farrakhan
Yeah.
was, junior in the organization at that time, but that's when my dad followed. He
Mm.
was into the Nation of Islam. That's why my name is Ali,
I was
right?
wondering. So were you ever practicing, or that was just your dad?
No, I mean, I've never been a practicing Muslim. I was taught certain tenets, and informed of certain principles. I can say hello and I can respond in kind. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam,
Yeah,
right?
we can all do that.
And but just even that, sometimes you just got to be able to acknowledge and give somebody a ounce of respect, and just
Yeah.
even being able to do that opens up an entirely, new dialogue. I get in Ubers and stuff, and and then some guy will go, hey, my name is this, your name is Ali, you Muslim? And I go, no, but my dad practiced, and just even a
Mm.
familiarity opens up a conversation, and just to extend that to Jesse Jackson and what he ultimately attempted to do, and that brought us Al Sharpton, and just all of these people who started out on the periphery of a movement, and have slowly and surely worked their way closer and closer towards the center of power, ultimately with Obama becoming president and him tracking that, through Chicago. One of the first black senators, Carol Mosley Braun, was from Chicago. So I'm just saying, like, it's kind of like it's kind of in my blood,
And your blood.
to have a certain sort of
Side
reverence
sound. Yeah.
for somebody like Jesse Jackson.
Yeah, it's weird seeing your historical figures passing. Did you see or hear anything about the funeral? There was a lot going on there.
No, no, I didn't. I saw some clips which I would later understand came from the funeral, and but I didn't follow. I don't really know anything about what happened there.
No, his son had a lot to say um, about the politicians that were there. He felt were not genuine in their paying of respects, and historically, there's been rumored hot mics when it came to the whole Obamas, and so it was just an interesting to me choice of timing to get that message across instead of the
Well, you
obituary
know
or
what? I mean, I'll say this. When it comes to hearing something uncomfortable, there's never a good time. Like it doesn't exist. Right? If you are the person that has to receive the information that's uncomfortable, there's no time and you would prefer to hear that. I would prefer to not hear that at all. But if I gotta choose, fuck it, go ahead.
yeah.
Right? And so yeah, I mean, I've been a person that has delivered information in a space where people probably weren't expecting that. I've done that a few times. you know and it's just that when that's on your heart, when that's on your mind, when it's in your spirit,
Yeah.
whatever it is that the people who are the subject of what you have to say, whatever it is that they've done, and however it is that they've done it, this is the feeling that they left you with, right? And so they can say, I intended, I intended, I intended, and that could all be true. And yet, what it has left you feeling is something else. And if you can't, won't, don't ever say what that is, then that just becomes, this cancer that quietly spreads,
Yeah, yeah.
inside and amongst all the people who, you think you have a different relationship with.
That is so true. And I mean, it's interesting because we're talking about people being on mics and being uncomfortable. It's a perfect segue to everything that happened at
Go ahead. You
BAFTAs.
you take it. You take it.
So, I mean, award season is supposed to celebrate best in film and all the things. But when the BAFTAs wrapped, what should have been a celebration turned into a larger conversation. And it made me think about being in the room. Just because you're in the room doesn't mean you're safe in the room. And at the BAFTAs, a racial slur was heard. We're talking the N word, hard R. And the moment was not just about this word, it was about something deeper. Because in this industry, being invited into the room doesn't always mean you're protected in it. So, just a quick recap of what happened during the ceremony. We have John Davison. He's an advocate for Tourette's syndrome, and he's a real life subject of his film, I Swear. And he said the N word. Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo are on stage presenting. The moment was not edited out, the broadcast. Despite the BBC having a 2-hour delay in which they could have edited out, they also made sure they edited out a lot of other stuff like that they didn't want to air. So let's note that. And the Davidson's team shares that he did reach out to the studio, handling sinners in order to directly apologize. Now, if that apology came through, I don't know. But my first thought was, why curse words? Like, why the N word? If your condition is to yell out random things, why does it have to be racial slurs? Is that word on the tip of your tongue? So I did some research, and there is like a particular form of Tourette's called coprolalia, which is the involuntary use of obscene and offensive language. So his condition may have made him say it. Now, the curse words, we can debate if that's based off his racial dynamics, based off whatever. But I'm not here to debate if the dude's a racist, to be honest. But what it did make me wonder is about Black people in elite spaces. And then you had Jamie Lawson's from Sinners. Did you see her quote on the red carpet? She says,
Yeah.
just because you invite someone in a space, but you don't provide the necessary resources to keep them and everyone else in the room safe by them being there, that's not exclusivity, that's exploitation. So is it just me, or are we invited into the room but not really backed in the room? Like, is that a safe space for us? Because it doesn't feel
Well,
like it.
there's a very uncomfortable dynamic, at play, as we, do our business in this space. And that is, for all intents and purposes, we're guests. We're
Mm-hmm.
guests, right?
We should be
We
happy to be
can't co-
there.
we can't command any space. We can't throw nobody out. If anything is to be done about something that happened that somebody else didn't want to have happen, we can say what we feel about it, but somebody else will see to that, you know. And so, and if I'm being kind in my choice of words, it is being guests, the hosts afford you whatever comforts occur to them,
Mm.
right? Get them a nice seat. Yeah, move it up front a little bit. You don't want them too far back. Get them a dressing room. Get them a car, right? you know, that's the Monique thing. I have all of this stuff that I have to do in support of a film that makes whatever sort of money it makes, but it's also backed by this corporate entity, and they stand to profit in ways that I'll never see. And whether or not I'm unfamiliar with the space, whether or not I've done a good job of communicating my concerns, you are not taking into consideration that my experience in my life, where I move, is at a level that I expect to be commensurate in a place that I've been told is greater than the one that I come from. Right? So you're asking me to do a bunch of shit, and I'm like, why the fuck am I getting asked to do all this shit? Y'all don't, So I mean, there's a major miscommunication, there's a major gap, and there's a power play at hand. And the power play is, you should be happy to be here. We gave you a thing, we invited you and stuff,
Yeah.
and if something goes wrong, hey man, sorry about that.
But the thing about it is, it's a fixable thing. You have a 2 hour delay. That 2 hour delay is there for if someone says a curse word, you can go and edit it out. That man yelled out multiple curse words over the course of that broadcast that were all edited out. We also have the creators of My Father's Shadow, Canoli Davis and Wally Davis, did their whole Free Palestine in the speech, and you made sure you got that note back to the editing. So you could have got the nigga note back to the editing. There's a choice to me in not doing that. What's up with that? And you can look at, the BBC in Britain and look at the racial dynamics over there, how they treated Meghan Markle and all that stuff. But also, there's an overflow room. If you know the dude's going to be yelling out
Well,
curse
I
words every
mean,
five
just
minutes,
yeah,
put him out
hold on,
there.
hold on, hold on. You got a couple of things happening here. So, on TikTok and YouTube, and perhaps on Instagram and Threads and some of the other social media platforms, they have these words that they use. You know, grape, smecks, unalived, pew pew.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We all know what those words mean.
Yeah.
But how we can use them in a sentence is he went to jail and they graped that nigga. That nigga is abstaining from sex.
So there's no cut. We don't have to cut
They
references
unalived
back.
that nigga.
Okay.
That nigga had a pew pew.
I don't like
All of
that
those,
word.
they I'm just
I'm
saying
one of the few
that
black people that
they
don't use the word
guard,
nigga.
they put up fucking fences around all of these words. When George Carlin was saying the seven dirty words, there was a word that wasn't on that list. That's the fucking only word we could say. Shit, goddamn, piss, cunt, motherfucker, cocksucker, and I don't know what the other one was, but it wasn't nigger. It wasn't nigger. And of all the words that was on that list, we could say all that shit on TV in commercials. The
Yeah, but it
president can
shouldn't
say
be
all
like
of that
that.
shit.
It shouldn't be like
But
that.
use, but, and the only people that can say nigger is us now. Um, in the words of Ice Cube, as he said to Bill Maher on the Bill Maher Real Time, it's our word and you can't have it back. That's a paraphrase, might not be an exact quote. You can go check it. It's our word. You can't have it back. That's why we can say it and you can't. Because you use this word to fucking do all of these things to us. And then we took it and turned it into something else. However it is that we think about it, it's our word and you can't have it back. I stand on that shit. I believe that shit 100%. Right? Because
But
I don't want
our
to police
word is
us.
nigga. The word that
No,
was
no,
used was
no, but
nigger.
but fuck them distinctions, right? Sexual assault versus rape, or should I say grape? Right?
You
You can
should
you
if you don't want
can
to stand
mince,
down.
bleep it or whatever. I'm just saying that you can mince. That would be fun. Go ahead and bleep that just in case,
You're gonna have to
right?
believe half the stuff that
put a,
he
put a
said
put a grape in
today.
front of my face. But I'm just saying that even we have fallen into discussion about slicing and dicing these distinctions when the greater distinction is that's what they've left us to fight about, right? And so when Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo go into this space, and of all the things that could be found offensive by all of the people who could be found offended, they had 2 hours to sit on this, and it either didn't occur to them, or once again, in the words of Ice Cube, either they don't show or they don't know. These motherfuckers,
No,
they
they
don't
don't
care, man.
care. Like the excuse was, oh, we couldn't hear it being said in the editing room. But that to me doesn't make sense because
But
if
you know
that guy
what?
had, God forbid, said any other word,
Edit.
and
I'm sorry, man. Editing room, my ass. Somebody on the floor said, "Oh shit."
they texted somebody back there. There's producers that are in on the floor, and there's
There's
producers that
there's
walkie talkies in the
no
back.
way. There's absolutely no way no one in the chain of command found that this guy yelled nigger on the floor while it was two fucking black superstars on stage and didn't nobody know shit. That didn't
He
happen.
didn't. They knew, and I think they probably had a conversation. Oh, well, should we cut that out? And somebody who don't want to step forward was just probably like, no, it's fine. It's fine. They say that all the
Well,
time. Like,
the easiest thing in what but here's where the insensitivity comes in, is that one of the conversations you'll have in a room like this is whose toes are we stepping on, or how do we draw attention to this moment? Basically, what are the other things that are to consider besides the fact that these two incredible actors, at the height of a moment in their career, just got the fucking hell insulted out of them? And what we're concerned about is, well, what else could be a problem that we might need to address?
Think about it. If you think about it, what else happened at the BAFTAs outside of this? Do anyone watch the BAFTAs? Do we even care about the BAFTAs? No. We care about the BAFTAs
We
all of a
do
sudden, and
now.
now all of a sudden we want to watch the BAFTAs because it's like, oh, we left the nigga in the broadcast. Oh, how fun. And now the clip is everywhere, and now there's eyeballs on your program, which probably wasn't because we wasn't concerned. It was not the award show that we're like super concerned about. And so I think it is purposeful. I think it is just like we said, black people using them as a ploy to get eyeballs on the thing, just like with the slap. It's like, oh, now there's more eyeballs on this. And it doesn't matter that you're offended. It doesn't matter that it was a lackluster apology. It doesn't matter that you feel not safe in the space anymore. This is cool for us. And that was the decision that was made when they left that in there because they had 2 hours to take it out. It
You
pisses
know,
me off.
there's a, you know, the thing about these sort of high profile circumstances is that it confuses people, and it makes people think they shouldn't say or do or be human, right? And that's very difficult for people because they're like, everybody's looking at me. What should I do? Well, you should
Mm.
fucking do the thing that's the right thing to do. These two guys just got called nigger. Now, you know, there is a series of reasons why that happened. However, we'll deal with those in a minute. Right now, who we saw was these two men maintain their composure and move
Such
past that
grace.
to do what they came there to do. And the next thing, the absolute next thing that should have been said was, we would like to sincerely apologize to Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan for what just happened.
Yeah, that apology was like so like
That's all. I mean,
lackluster.
just that would be the start. Not whoever might fuck whoever might have been
Whoever
offended.
might have been offended. The two people on
Motherfucker,
stage
you
were
know who he was
offended.
looking at.
Every black
Whoever
person in
might
this
have
room
been
was
offended.
offended. Weird. And
Excuse us, whoever might have been us. That, you know, whoever might have been assaulted. They don't say that when they're talking about Virginia Giuffre.
yeah, if you punch someone in the face, it's the person that got punched in the face, not whoever might have
Whoever
been
might have been.
assaulted.
I wonder who they might have could have assaulted.
But you know what? Had they not been so graceful and had said something like "How dare you?" or like, then that would have been the whole thing. Like, oh, the disrespect. Like, oh, it would have been all on them and not on the person that's shouting it out. And it just is unfortunate because this has happened historically. If you look at history, I mean, you think Haiti McDaniel, she's honored publicly for the Best Supporting Actress in the 1940 Oscar for Gone with the Wind. But she has to sit in a
Yeah.
segregated table in the back. She can't come to the premiere. She
Right.
can't celebrate with the cast and none of these things.
To
So it's
be
like we
happy to
honor
be
her
here.
publicly. Yeah, it's just like you should just be happy you're in a movie. And when you look at
Be
Sidney
happy you're here.
Poitier, he became like a political symbol. It's like almost he was treated as this acceptable form of blackness, and he would speak about this pressure of being the only one. It's like this is burden of being this entire representation for this entire community. If Sidney Poitier wanted to do a night on the town and mess up, get a little too drunk, have a ball, he can't because God forbid. Now it's
Can't
like
do
all
none of
black
it.
men, all black people are like that. It's like the pressure of having that. You know what I mean? Monique, you mentioned Monique
Well,
earlier.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say with Monique, winning the Oscar, it exposed her as being difficult, and Monique is still writing open letters to Whoopi Goldberg about Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey.
Listen, I
To
mean,
this
you know,
day.
there's a lot going on there. There's an awful lot going on there, but it's problematic to me that the fight is amongst all of the invitees and not with the host. You know, and this has happened. We see this happen time and again. All that shit that happened at death row, the white guys went on to lead other major media corporations, and the black guys got shot and went to jail and died and all kinds of shit. Right? It's always this thing, you know, and it doesn't make any difference which form of entertainment we're talking about. Right? If we're looking at Colin Kaepernick, if we're looking at Mahmoud Raouf, if we're looking at Craig Hodges, these are men who in the line of sports, and this is coming after Jim Brown and Abdul Jabbar, and
Mhm.
it's coming after these guys. That whenever we say, look, I thank you for inviting me. However, there's this really awful thing that's occurring that I think, if you really cared for me as a guest, here's something that I think you would address. And I'm going to bring that up by being quiet. Don't scream, get the fuck out of here. Don't be quiet, get the fuck out of here. Don't speak. Like, yeah, it's fine. And I'm saying this shit for the first time, and I will likely never speak on this again. But even what happened with Chris, like, that's my friend,
Mhm.
right? And something awful happened to him. And to see the organization race to the support of the offender, right? And then, you know, how much composure, you want to talk about composure, right? And it's like, and they don't know what to do because it's like their sense of whatever the fuck it is they're trying to protect prevents them from going the extra step to really care for someone who's been harmed,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so
The
it's just,
focus was a
and it's
lot
just the
on why
difficulty,
he slapped him, yeah, instead of
right?
focusing
And
on
it's
the
like,
victim.
yeah, it's like, it's, and again, you're in the guest's house, and the guest, certainly can't, solve this, and the host don't know what to do. They don't know whether they're more embarrassed for their other guest, or whether they should stop them. They don't know what to do. They never fucking know what to do. They never know to come out and go, "We're so sorry." And sometimes that's the easiest, quickest thing that anybody can do. I'm sorry. That's wow. We fucked up. We didn't know. We knew, but we didn't give it as much attention as we should have. Well,
Yeah,
I'm just
that
gonna lie.
reminds
I
me.
knew, and I was just hoping, I was just betting that this wasn't gonna happen, and it did. And I can
Yeah,
just go, I'm really sorry. We had some discussions about this, and obviously, what we chose to do uh, came to this.
yeah, and they're not going to do that. It reminds me a lot of that whole debacle where Moonlight won, but they announced the wrong person. You had the presenter announcing the wrong person, and it was really they were kind of going to just let it go. I remember the host at that time was like, "Oh, well, maybe we can give everyone awards," and then the director of was like,
Damn.
"No, Moonlight, come up here and get your award. You're not going to take their moment from them." And so it's just like almost like it's like yet again you're in the space, but like we're treating you like the redheaded stepchild in the space. Like if you were Delroy
Yeah.
Lindo or Michael B. Jordan, would you go back to the BAFTAs?
Um, would I go back to Baptist? It's a conditional yes. And here's the conditional yes. The conditional yes is you really have to explain to me, like, somebody, not a process, not an idea, not a fucking email. Somebody has to sit down and explain to me why they did that. Right? That would be
Mm,
thing one. I want to hear from somebody who made the decision, because that's how corporations work. Somebody has to
that's the
decide,
answer. Hmm.
right? Somebody said, no, 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 let it go. I want to hear from you. That's thing one, right? And then thing two is, listen, I'm it's exciting to have your work recognized, and we want to have our work recognized in all of the places, in all of the ways. Why wouldn't we want that? Why wouldn't I want to go back? But I really want you to truly extend the considerations, open up whatever the field of conversation is. There are Black journalists in Britain. Are they a part of this conversation? Just how do we expand the scope of what this experience is and means, so that you don't have to try to fucking figure out on your own whether it's a
Hmm.
good or bad idea to cut out the part whether two fucking Black film icons just got called nigger at your show.
Yeah, I'm telling you, whoever made the decision really looked at the pros, and the pros being the fact that we're here sitting talking about this award show right now, which we would have not been doing. The award show would have came and went, and that would have been the end of it. And it's a topic of discussion amongst many news outlets and podcasts and whatever because of the fact that those words were left in the broadcast. And we know that they were fully aware of it because of the fact that they chose to cut out what they wanted to cut out. They wanted to cut out Free Palestine. They made sure that got cut out. right? And every other curse word that that man said throughout the night. That man excused himself at some point because he cursed so often throughout that broadcast. Um,
He was sitting in the back of the auditorium. I can't believe you motherfuckers are letting me sit here. The fuck
and
is
they just
this?
let it go, and it's like you got
The
overflow
fuck is
rooms. Like
wrong with you people?
there's a way, and I get, yes, he's a nominee as well, and you want to treat all your nominees with a level of respect and whatever. But there's overflow rooms where you could have them still set up to watch the show that they don't disrupt the broadcast. There's just so many like things that to me could have taken
Well,
place
no, I mean,
that
there's
didn't.
one thing. There's this great episode of Homeland, and whoever, what's her name, Carrie, whatever her, that's the actress. I think her name. I don't
The
know if that's
main
the actress
actress
or
of
the
Homeland.
character. Um,
You know, you
but
mix, you mix it
yeah,
up.
she's bipolar
Let me look it
or
up.
something, and so she's talking to her handler or some spy or something, and she's saying, "Listen, man, uh, I need you to know that when I go off my meds,
Oh, Claire
right,
Danes
you,
is Carrie is
Claire
the character.
Danes."
Claire Danes. Yeah.
Okay, carried the character. So she's telling this guy, she goes, I need you to know that when I'm off my meds, basically, you can't trust anything that I say. I'm on my meds now, so I'm the same version of me explaining this to you. Because when the other motherfucker shows up, he's not going to do this. And you'll know this because I'm telling you. Okay, so don't trust that person. Right. And that was the crux of it. And so basically, if this man is coming into a circumstance saying, listen, I know what my experience has been. I just shot a whole fucking movie about it. This situation is one that could be perilous. I don't doubt in my mind at all he said that. And I'm sure they all went, oh, pshaw.
This
Come
should
on in
be
here, sit down.
fun.
And he's like, no,
Bollocks.
y'all try
The
not to,
British.
it's like if somebody told you they had explosive diarrhea and then you had 15 rows of seats and you put them in the seventh row in the middle seat. And I'm like, I don't know if it's a good idea for me to sit here. And they're like, don't worry. You'll be fine.
No,
So
it's
I'm like I mean, the people are going to have a varying sets of opinions about the man himself, but he has a condition, and part of coming into spaces is explaining to people what's going on with you, and then making some reasonable decisions around what's to happen next. And they miscalculated, and okay, fine. I'll give you all of that. It's the organization afterwards that makes these decided thing. Oh, it's okay. That's what they thought. They thought it was okay.
yeah. That's what I said. My
So
issue is
I'm
not
not
with
you.
that.
They should
It's
take.
with the organization.
They got to take my
It's
man out of the conversation. Take him out.
yeah. Yeah, and that's what I said. It was just like the condition is what the condition is. You can argue about like, oh well, why is that on the tip of your tongue or not? But the issue for me is the 2 hour delay in which they had the choice to take it out and chose not to because they thought it would be for the betterment of the broadcast to keep it in. And that's who I have the issue with. I'm not here to debate whether that man is racist or not, or whether he purposely said that or not. I'm here to debate why they kept it in. And it just makes me think about we've been fighting to get in the room for decades. And it's really about who controls what happens when you get there. And it's like maybe instead of fighting to get in these rooms, we need to be fighting more so for being in control of the rooms. And that brings me to verticals. You know, verticals are taking over
Verticals.
everything.
They're taking over.
Yeah, it like it when
Everything's
I
vertical.
well, I mean, because cell phones means everything's vertical, and I mean that's when it originated. It was on Snapchat when they started doing vertical videos. But when I first encountered vertical videos, it was those Chinese dramas that would pop up on my TikTok, and then like
Yeah, I've
it
heard
would
about them.
yeah, it was always the mistress taking the rich guy, and the it was always interesting, and it's turning into people are no longer looking at them as like amateur or like low budget, um, which is I think how people try to frame it, and like I feel like it's starting to become more mainstream. And so, is it just me, or did vertical video finally give us a way around the gate instead of through it? So we don't have our normal gatekeepers now. We can create our own thing, whether it's via social media or creating our own content through our phone or utilizing the vertical mediums. Um, you don't need permission to prove your value. with this
You
vertical
know,
content?
I mean, I'm looking at it from two perspectives right now, and one is the interest of the creators in the format and in that as a platform. Then the other part is the interest from Parker and the Yellow about getting into that media space. And what does that mean? Right. So
Yeah,
those are two different things. And so on the creator side of it, you know, you hear so much, you hear a lot of concern from a lot of legacy traditional media companies about, you know, all the ways in which the business is not what it was, right? We don't have
hmm,
these studios, we don't have these shows, we don't have this, we don't have that. uh, and they suggest somehow that, oh, there's this major contraction in entertainment. It's like, well, no. On the one hand, some of your platforms and your styles of entertainment are aging out, right? What's interesting to a younger audience, you know, the visual language, tonality, you know, actual physical, you know, interaction with the material. You know, the Breakfast Club is on Netflix now. And one of the things that just hilarious is saying is that, you know, the people who love that show on YouTube miss being able to comment on it because they weren't just watching, it was
yeah,
interactive for them,
it's
right?
interacting.
And so
Yeah,
just, you know, it may reach a different profit margin on Netflix for another set of reasons. But one of the things that made it what it is that it had this level of connectivity that made it something special to the audience. And I would add to that that because they are now moving on to Netflix, it's almost to say they know they're aging out too, right?
yeah, I would
Charlemagne
say
and them is in
so.
their 40s, right?
I would
Right.
say
The
so.
people in their 20s ain't, and I'm not, that's no shade to Charlemagne and them. They're doing fine. Howard
That's not where
Stern
they're
moved over
going
to,
for their. That's not where they're going for their entertainment
right. I'm
news.
just saying, you know, Howard Stern moved over to Sirius XM or whatever. And I don't even know what his audience is anymore, but they like him. So
Yeah.
in when you're the creators, there's new spaces available, there's new formats available, the
Hmm.
vertical structures, the companies, Paramount just bought Warner Brothers, all that makes it incredibly difficult for young people to make things. And it's almost like, oh, they're back to doing what we had to do before, taking whatever they had, creating something and putting it wherever they can put it. But they have
Yeah, I
the
mean,
internet now.
you create your own audience. I mean, I watched the 50 part Why Did I Get Married series, and I was invested in the entire thing. And it's like from top to bottom. Like there's a lot of things that are happening vertically that to me are holding my attention. I can sit on TikTok for hours and it would I would stay on there longer than I would watch a lot of the programming that's out. And wouldn't even say I'm a part of the generation that is like birthed into the TikTok social media space. So I do think it is something that you should look at. And you mentioned David Oyelowo and Nate Parker, and so they're trying to push this whole idea with Mansa, which is a platform to distribute and curate Black cultural content globally. And Oyelowo makes a quote where he basically says, "We've always driven culture, but we don't own the pipes that distribute it. We are always taking what we make and pushing it through the filter and value system of people who don't look like us." And so what I've been seeing a lot on social media on my feed lately is they are looking for content for this vertical platform. They have a lot of different content creators that they're working with, that they're reaching out to put to their audience to say, if you have a vertical video, if you have if you're writing for that vertical space, we want you because we want your content. If you have like short form content and things like that, because they want to fill their they want to fill their distribution channels. They want to be this distributor for this cultural
Right.
space. And I think their goal is to take this undervalued content, serve the audience, us Black people directly, and build this platform where creators actually like own their lane. And
So,
vertical to me, no, go ahead. What you gonna say?
well, so yes, you know, they obviously have a mission statement that speaks to the needs and desires of young creators. But it's also important for young creators at this moment to realize that even when dealing with Mansa, right? I've
Right.
met Nate Parker, and have sat and we've had a conversation to chat before, just casually getting to know one another. I've never met David Oyelowo, and as an independent filmmaker, one of the things is to be able to argue for to understand licensing, to you have to understand the value of IP. Even when you're going to Mansa, you want to go to them. If their ideology is to form a structure that is built on a certain good faith system, and there's modicums of trust and participation, then one of the things that you owe yourself as a creator is to come to the table with an idea of what your value is. You can determine these things now. There's tools to help you. I'm not going to go into all of them here. Whether you got view counts, whether you got budgets, whether you have reaches or subscribers, whether you're part of a demo, just whatever your level of engagement and understanding of what it is you're creating, why you're creating it, what you want to get to. And at this juncture in their development, it may become how you can benefit one another, right? Mansa needs creators. They need content. They're going to get a fast channel. That means it's going to be stuff running back to back to back, running ads in there. So you need to know about CPMs, cost per minute. What does it cost to run these ads in a particular block of the day? Do you argue that put my content at this time of the day or that time of the day? When they're lining all this stuff up, there's ways that they go about programming. So whether it's AVOD, which is I forget what the A stands for, but it's video on demand, and then SVOD. Um,
Standard
you're
video.
looking at ways that money are being made, whether it's
Hmm.
subscriptions, whether it's payments on. So you got to start just before you go into these spaces wanting to just get on. You have to go into these spaces with more education, with more research, looking to do business, because the bad part, and it's nothing to do with what they've structured, is that someone will walk away going, they fucked me.
Oh yeah, but that's
And
all the
they may have
time.
made the best idea they could have made at the time, you know. And so, like, this is like BET getting off the ground or something. It's new, they're
Yeah,
figuring it
yeah.
out. So you
And
got to come to
AVOD
the
is
table
a
informed.
advertising based video, and I mean, for me, I would love to see. Right now, the only verticals I've seen, to me, I don't like them because to me they seem low budget. They seem like the focus is not on the storyline. It's the same story over and over again. It seems like it's a soap opera, like caricatures, two dimensional characters. It doesn't feel like it's for the purpose of really trying to like tell a story that is going to be to stick with you. It feels like it's cranking them out. And even if as an actor, right now, majority of the things you can book right now are verticals. If you go on like the casting sites, you see tons of verticals, back to back. And really, it seems like that's what people are doing to get work.
Well, I want to defend verticals for a minute, and I want to say, um, let's see. Oh, you remember when Auto Tune came out?
Oh yeah, tap
Right?
to auto
And
tune.
everybody with auto tune here. It's like, oh my God, will these motherfuckers quit auto tuning? Oh my God, another auto tune. Like, we didn't even know T Pain could sing because auto tune was in the
And
way.
he can really
But
sing.
he could really fucking sing. He's like, what are you doing? What the fuck's wrong with you? We need John Davidson to go over the team. What the fuck's wrong with you, man? Why are you auto tuning when you can sing? But I say all that to say, you're dealing with low hanging fruit right now. An exciting thing has happened. This format has become viable. Quibi tried it, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and for a number of reasons, they weren't the right bridge to mass adoption or success. They were in the right space, but it was right place at the wrong time.
Wrong time.
Those weren't the guys, right? But now the Chinese have gotten a hold of it, and these are people that are operating in new media spaces. They aren't averse to new technologies, trying things, ideas. They're a digitally thought forward space. right? So, they've embraced it. And I don't know if there's Spanish novellas or whatever. So, all of those people are diving into this pool. What's going to happen, which has already occurred, there's a show called 61st Street set in Chicago.
Mhm.
What's my man played Johnny Cochran in the OJ movie? Courtney Vance.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so he's the star of this like kind
From
of a cop
61st Street.
drama, 61st
Okay.
Street. And I hadn't seen 61st Street when it was on the air. I first encountered it in vertical clips on TikTok. So I'm watching 61st Street in vertical clips on TikTok, and what am I doing? I'm doing the exact thing that Quibi tried to do, except they didn't get that far. They were trying to program, let's take a 1 hour drama and cut it up into 1 minute segments, and then we'll run it. And I watched one of their shows. It worked fine.
Okay, so
But people weren't
it's like
ready.
every 60 seconds, it's like a new clip
And so
or
they took 61st Street, they were clipping a scene up, and just like you watched Risa Tisa, I sat there and I watched a whole episode of 61st Street. So what you're talking about has happened already, and it's going to happen again. But who's in the way right now are the people who have no interest in that. They're like, fuck that 60-minute script. We could write 30-second scripts. And we'll just write a bunch of them really, really fast, and we'll put them up. And by the time y'all figure that shit out, it'll be too late. We'll be winning because I'm gonna have 1,000 episodes on the air by the end of the week.
yeah.
You still working on one?
It's literally the
Go ahead
same
out there with
story
your
over and
crew.
over again. And I'm like, I haven't seen it. And it may be out there. It may be out there. I haven't seen the black verticals. Like, where are the verticals with the black people? I haven't seen them.
They're,
I've
they're coming.
seen Asian. I've seen, like,
Well,
white.
but
And I don't know if
I've
the
seen
audience
people
is mainly
toying around.
China and we're not really that for that audience. I don't know. But I haven't seen
Yeah,
the
I'm.
black
It's like
vertical.
again that space exists already. There are eyeballs on content creators who have largely black followings or engagement or whatever it is, but they're having a different sort of conversation. You know, it's a lot of hanging mic rappers and I've seen one guy recently, he's bobbing back and forth doing his kind of thing, so they're using it for something else, right? And they're saying, vertical stories, and that gives a distinction in terms of the application or the genre, if you will. And that might become something that people want to advertise on, or it might become something else, I don't know. But the black people are there already. They just haven't determined necessarily what they want to see or how they would respond to storytelling. And so, somebody's doing it right now. I don't know who it is,
I'm
but they're
sure.
gonna be
Yeah,
on in a minute.
it might be on it. Let me know in the comments if I'm missing some great vertical content. But vertical it sums up everything we're seeing on social media. And I have seen that some people are using their social media and to promote films that they want to create to build an audience, so that they're going into a meeting where it's like, you should greenlight this. I have an audience, or I've even reached out to my own follow base and gotten investments, and now I have this form of money. It's like, it is a way of using your power. You're no longer waiting for the green light to come from the executives. Now you're walking in with the audience, you're walking in with the marketing, you're walking in sometimes with the money already attached. It is like, it's your power. And so I understand David and Nate looking at it as, okay, this is an untapped market where we want to elevate the content. We want it to be specific towards us, and we want to be able to distribute it and create our own pipeline. Like, it makes sense. It does feel like it's this missing piece that they're trying to fill in, and I do hope that other people also step up to do the same.
Well, it's like they're again, if you're looking at them as a media company, right? They are carving out the BET own whatever that sort of universe is, because
Mm-hmm.
right now, and we were talking about eyeballs, before, is that they need black people's attention,
Yeah.
right? And so at this juncture, there's not so much going on in the space. So if they can get this platform up and running and start injecting something that's interesting and whatever the part of the conversation, when people talk about elevating, it's not everything has to be, at this level serving black excellence and intellect and all of these things. It's just make that a component of everything that's being serviced and shown. It ain't like we don't like funny gag, broad humor. We do,
Yeah, of course.
right? But it's just, there's always this distinction between it has to be that or the other thing. And the reality now is, these people are so much more versed and literate in terms of what they like and appreciate and have been exposed to in the way of entertainment. And so when you're starting to curate a space, these guys are in a perfect position to program blocks of content. So you might get some cheesy soap operas, and it might just be a fun watch. People have fun. Then somebody else might be able to do a cool kind of sexy romance, and somebody else is
Mhm.
able to do a block of comedies, right? And when I say block, you're talking about 2 minute episodes. So if we can get 45 90-second clips to run in this block of comedy, and that's how you start training an audience to show up for
Yeah.
something. And then, somebody hits, and maybe that IP gets developed into a show that, goes to another platform. That's going to happen, you know, or somebody going to go, I got a brilliant idea and I'm going to turn this world that we created into a movie, you know? So there's just all of these opportunities there, and it's an active space, right? And so if you are wherever you are in the industry, they don't have all of the answers. I'm certain they have some amazing plans, you know, but you might be the person that has an idea that they don't have. So this is an incredible time to find the right channels, and they're saying they want to be open to the business and to creatives. Well, figure out what your pitch is and get in there, because you
Yeah,
may not get the chance again. Once them
they
doors
are definitely
close,
looking. They're looking for the content
so
right now.
get your shit together and get in there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the spaces is there, but we do see that things are shifting in the industry. Everybody's been talking about Hollywood's not the same. Hollywood's not the same, but Hollywood may have just flipped that switch back on because this week Los Angeles passed a set of reforms under the Keep Hollywood Home initiative, package designed to make filming in LA faster, cheaper, easier. So for this week's table read, the script is titled "Quiet on Set." LA is back. So they say. So we shall see. People are mass leaving LA, and the industry has been mass leaving LA for a while. But here are some of the permits that they pass. Free micro shoot permits. So we have a creation of a no cost permit category for very small productions. So, i.e., verticals, things like that. Allow crews with minimal equipment to film in public spaces without paying those standard permit fees. It's designed for your indie filmmakers, your students, social media production. So, I mean, that's really good. We have streamlined film permit process where the city simplifies and standardizes the permitting process handled through Film LA. And that reduces your paperwork, your overlapping approvals that are required by all the multi-city departments is how it used to be, which was really annoying. Then you have your standardized neighborhood rules, standardization of notifications, surveys, and monitoring requirements for filming in neighborhoods. That eliminates those inconsistent rules because there's been some each district had its own rules and for notifying everyone, and it used to be very annoying. You have to go door to door, getting signatures and all sorts of stuff. It was very difficult. I've done it. It's very difficult. It's annoying.
Well, you say
Uh,
you've done it.
yeah, when we shot that Golly short, we had to go door to door to a certain number of businesses and homes and give out notifications that we're going to be shooting at that church within their vicinity and make sure they got
Wait,
signatures. We had
so
to present
so
it
so
all.
wait, so you got to go in and do the thing because I wasn't paying attention. Uh,
Oh yeah, you
so
don't
when you
have to do
go
the
in
hard
there,
work. You don't have to. You just show up and sit in the director's chair. That's all you do. Yeah,
so
you
wait
have
a
to
minute, so
go.
you
You have to
go
go
into
to
these
that door
places.
knocking.
What do they say when you go in there? How do they act?
I mean, what are you doing here? I mean, like some people are like, "Oh, a movie, who's in it?" And some people are annoyed. It just depends. But we make sure we promise that it's not going to affect their parking. It's not going to be too noisy. Like you just appease them, and then you get their signature. And if you have a certain number of signatures, but now you don't have to do all of that. It's a more simplified, standardized process. So that'll be nice. You don't have to do all those surveys and things like that. And then you also have an elimination of special conditions where there's certain location specific restrictions and requirements that apply to certain neighborhoods. Um, and that kind of reduces all those outdated and redundant filming rules that made it very difficult. You
Now
got
you
fast.
work with some people. You know people that are doing shorts and out there shooting. Is this the type of stuff that's
Yeah.
going to help them?
Yeah, everything's going to help. It's about making it easier. It's it's like, I mean, just the fact that you're able to get a permit for the micro shoot off the bat when you have like a low budget and not having to go through all the, because there's a different,
What do they consider a low budget now? Like, you know,
like a
because I don't
vertical
know.
or a social media production or indie film. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
As far as like money wise,
yeah, yeah,
I mean, your indie film can run you easily like 30,000
yeah.
in that range, like under 50,000. You know what I mean? But that would still be considered like low budget. But when I think of like low, I'm thinking it's like a social media production. You're out there with your camera, and like a lot of times when you're doing something that low, you're not doing a permit. You shooting and praying. Like you just like
Yeah.
hoping you don't see a cop. Let me know if you see a cop coming. Let me guerrilla style. But like now you can actually put sticks on the ground, and you can get a permit that says I'm actually
So
designated to
now,
be here.
like, I mean, I get it. I know, there's legions of filmmakers who've gone out into the world and, run and gun and that whole thing. To your knowledge, do these people ever just make themselves aware enough of what the law is so when they have to apologize if they get stopped, they can
Yeah,
say something that makes sense?
the sticks on the ground, like if you have a tripod on the ground, usually if a police comes by, they're going to want to see a permit. If you're doing handheld, you can kind of get away with the fact that you're shooting at a particular place. But the minute you kind of set up base with like tripods down and stuff like that, then you're kind of violating that. So some people will try to get around that. And some people will just look out for the cops. Like assign someone to
Yeah.
look out for the cops. Because it's like going through the permit process is daunting. There's some other things they're passing where they have coordination with other jurisdictions, so you don't have to deal with all the coordinating all the rules, auditing the film permitting system, so it makes it an easier process. And then all these different industry initiatives that they're doing, like Made in LA, where they want to brand programs for productions and develop film tourism again. Initiatives tied to faming at famous locations. So if you choose to film at like a famous location in Hollywood Boulevard or things like that, there's certain initiatives tied to that because they want to drive tourism back into the city. So big picture, I mean, all of this stuff is meant to cut red tape. It's meant to lower your costs. Because if I'm an indie filmmaker, and I have to come out of pocket for permits right off the bat, that's cutting into my budget. Like I want my crew to eat. Like, I need to pay for equipment. It's like so all these different things,
Yeah.
these costs of permits cut into that. And then it modernizes the LA filming rules, which to me were still based on the studio model, which made it like harder if you're not in that studio space, which a lot of these micro budget things are not. And all of the rules that they had has made stuff move to Georgia. New York is gotten a lot of the stuff that would have shot in Cali and in just international locations like the UK and Canada because their tax incentives are better and their permitting is easier. Now, LA is still not competing with anybody on the tax incentives. They're not. It's still more expensive to film in LA. Let's call it a buck than it is to film in like Atlanta or like Canada or something like that. But there's a lot of people in LA that move to LA specifically because they want to be a filmmaker. So at least this makes it easier for them to do that. And hopefully they will continue to look at those tax incentives to see if we can make it more competitive because that's what people
And
move to
so you're
California
saying that
for.
now when they go in to apply, there's like a application that kind of covers blanket. Here's all the permits you'll need, and we don't make you go through 15 different hoops. Are there new costs? Is it new money that comes with this, or?
It's supposed to be less. I don't know the exact amount that it is right now, but it's definitely less in terms of those smaller productions as far as the permanent. They just passed all of this last week. So I don't know how long it's going to take for it all to like roll out and everything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm hoping that this is the beginning of a start of change. And this was unanimously passed in the city council, which means that I think that overall they're realizing that the way it's been is not working.
I would say don't be hopeful. I would say get online, find out where the permits are, and start shooting as soon as you possibly can.
Well, yeah, that would
Because
be Film
all it takes
LA.
is. Now, I'm just saying, it's like, in the world of things that work, don't wait and hope, and believe and expect that your opportunity to take advantage of these is going to come later. You should start doing things immediately because I don't know, man. The business is changing. They
Yeah,
put something in effect, and then somebody starts a war, or some guy comes in and goes crazy and goes, "I'm pulling all the funding for this. We got to put a bedroom in this plane."
yeah.
Right? So you don't know. Get out there, shoot your stuff, get online. We should probably include some links to some of this stuff,
Yeah, so
especially when it's these actionable.
Film LA is where you would go. And right now the standard application fee for your permit is about $931. Unless you're a student, then it's under $134. So it was higher than that.
Okay.
It's come down since the last time I looked, but I'm assuming it's going to come down some more because these are still based on before they made these changes
Yeah.
recently. But anything to make it easier because I mean you've seen the studios. There's all these studios and they're like ghost towns. It's like stuff is choosing to not shoot
And
in LA
I went
anymore.
over to I was in the FX building on the
Mm-hmm.
Fox lot, and apparently they're moving out, and Tubi is moving in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know, but that's a big deal,
That's a big deal.
right? But I'm just like, I've been visiting that lot, for years, and it was just bustling and active, and there was always people and things, and I went over there like, a month or so before Christmas. I mean,
It's quiet.
I could have taken the entire place hostage.
You would have taken the
Yeah, I
one
could have
janitor
rounded
that
up
was
all
there.
8 people.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, get in there, get it in the commissary, everybody.
And I'm like, what happens to all these sound stages? It's like,
No, it's
what are
like,
we doing with
here's the
them?
thing. Once the machinery starts to leave, it's not coming back,
It's hard to get it back.
right? Yeah, because it's impossible to get it back because now studios are supporting families and infrastructure and commerce in Atlanta and in North Carolina and in Arizona and in Detroit. And they have no reason, and they would be foolish. Detroit already lost the auto industry. They had to close stadiums and all this stuff. And it's like, wow, we
Mm-hmm.
got some film production and maybe some other things, and they're going to lean forward. Maybe Mansa goes there and builds a studio and becomes a major film company or whatever it is, because that's where
Yeah,
they can get space. So I'm just
absolutely.
saying, yeah, man, you got to get in there, and because this shit is moving,
Yeah, and I
and
don't
and
think
there's
that
money.
there's money. Yeah, there's money. I
Well,
mean,
I'm just saying that they're going, the business is doing awful. No, money was in cassettes before CDs showed up. CDs showed up and it went over there.
I mean, just because they're shooting the show in the UK, those execs that live in LA are still making money. That network CEO
Oh
that
yes,
is based in LA
that's
is
why
still
they're
making
shooting.
money.
They're like, you know what?
They're shooting to
I would
save
love to
money.
stay. I'm gonna stay in my house in Los Angeles, and you go to Ireland and shoot that show that you guys do. Love that, by the way. What's it called again?
But what's crazy is it's cheaper for them to take all their top of line crew and to Ireland than it is for them to
Yeah.
stay local in LA. Like that's messed. Like that's weird. Like why is that? Someone needs to fix the governor. I don't know. Someone needs to fix that. And I think that the shows that are shooting and will continue to shoot in LA, shows like the studio, or shows that it makes sense to shoot them in LA. They're based in LA and they're about LA, and
Well,
so to
it makes sense to shoot most of the stuff in LA because most of the people who you want to have be in the stuff are here.
Mhm.
That's why it makes sense. you know,
But now it
there's
just
there's a
feels like
reason why they.
you're going where you can get the work. Like there's a lot of actors who I have like heard speak who to me at this point in their career should be at a place where they're comfortable, where they can live wherever they live and fly into work or be flown in for production. But that doesn't seem to be what's happening unless you're like A list. Say if you're in that space of like that B list actor where we know your face, but we don't necessarily know you first and last name, but you might have been a series regular on things. They're working local hire. So they may be moving to an Atlanta because it's cheaper. And when they need to
Listen.
fly into Chicago to work, they're flying into Chicago to New York. They're working local hire. It's they're flying themselves because it's like I gotta go where the work is. You know, you see, we talked last week about major celebrities doing commercials, which used to be people's bread and butter, and now that's the A-listers
Yep.
bread and butter. So you have to get in where you can get in. And I don't know if that's fixing. Like I want it to be, but I don't want to sit here on this platform and be like, oh, it's gonna work itself out. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, so we have to look at how money is being made. It's not just what money is being made, it's how money is being made. You know, Park and Yellow, well, they're investing in infrastructure,
Yeah, the
right?
pipeline.
And by investing in infrastructure, if they start pulling together the means by which they can create this content, places where they can, do it, and then when they do it, now they have a platform where they can show it. They're vertically integrated, right? We can figure out what it is. We have a place where we can build it, and then we have a system to distribute it, right?
Mm.
And so if they can do that thing and that thing alone, then if nothing else, they themselves are positioned to maintain, their career, their business, and whatever satellites orbit them. Other people are going to do a version of the same thing, right? And there's going to be different levels of specificity to it, whether it's black or black Latina or women or millennials or
Yeah,
Gen A or
yeah.
old people or whatever it is. Versions of those things are going to occur. It's going to proliferate. So when you're looking at what you create, we're in the IP era now. And the thing about being in the IP era is because we do have platforms, verticals, YouTube, TikTok, whatever the means by which you can establish value for the thing that you've created. Like the stock market, when something goes up for the first time, when you're creating this IP and you're establishing that it has value in the marketplace, this business is show business. They're in the business of showing people things. They can take what you've done and explode it. But what they've always wanted to know and what they've always spent money guessing and researching is how close can we get to something that feels like it might almost be a sure thing? And then they do that. And it doesn't make any difference what it is. It could be Tyler Perry dressed up as a dude in a bawdy
Dressed up
comedy
as a
about going to
dude.
college. Yeah, as an old dude, right? It could be that. It could
As a
it could
dude.
be Sinners. It could be Daria from Detroit. It could be the Real Housewives of wherever they from. It could be the basketball wives from wherever they from. We don't care. We could give a fuck. My business is putting something on this thing and showing it to those people and then getting some money from some other people because they looked at that thing. I'm a middleman. And the space was wide open because y'all are too busy making shit and y'all are too busy watching it. That's where I come in.
Well, listen, I would love
Did
to
I say Tyler
see.
Perry dressed up as a dude?
Yeah, which I'm like he was a dude last time I checked. Last time
Well,
I
he was in a
checked.
costume, is what I'm
Yeah, no, I know
saying.
what you mean. You know, he dresses up. There's a lot of different things. But I would love to see LA come back. I would love to see my friends that work in the industry. You know, I have actor friends, young directors, writers, costumers, set designers. I would love to see them feel like work is consistent. And it has not felt like that for the last year. It has been a lot of people waiting by the phone, myself included, for an
Listen, I'm gonna
opportunity
tell
to
you
be on
something.
set.
This is mean old guy here. Uh, uh, this is a very difficult business. And you don't need to hear that from me. You already know that.
You already know.
And And I'm saying this in all sincerity. There's no shame in deciding that it's not for you, right?
You
There's
right.
there's
You telling people to give
no
up?
no, not you, but I'm just saying that there are people who are in this business who have desires, dreams, they got ideas. Sometimes the path is difficult. Sometimes it seems near impossible. Uh, and I really do want to say to a group of people, there is no shame in saying this is not for me,
I don't
right?
know if I can get behind that.
No,
Hold
hold
on,
on, hold
wait a
on,
minute.
hold
Hold on,
on,
hold on, hold on.
hold on. But because there's another side of that,
Okay.
right?
What's
And
the other side?
so, and the thing about it is that a lot of times people want to push themselves, or they continue to strive, or they lean into something because they have it in their minds that someone else needs them to do or be or make. And that's some people in this business. They're bringing pressures, they're bringing expectation, they're bringing belief systems that are not entirely their own. And they're in this thing saying to themselves, how do I say, I gotta make it because this, I gotta. And sometimes it's like, well, this might not be your shit. There might
Um.
be another thing for you,
Well,
because you
so I.
hanging in there, you losing money, you losing time, they're fucking with your mental health, and you might need to go step back for a second, reset, then come back in.
Well,
I'm just saying,
so let me say what you said makes me feel as a young person in this industry. I feel like sometimes when you talk to the older established, you would consider yourself established. You've done things, you have accolades. You got into the industry at a certain time decades ago, and there was a different set of rules. There's a different system. We can both agree that things are different right now in comparison to when you were. Not that it was not difficult for you to get things going, not that it was easier. I'm not saying that, but it was different. There was a lot of things that took place within the last 5 years that did not probably take place within 20 years of your career. Pandemic, strikes, whatever, back to back to back, mergers and what have you. So it is fair to say that someone that is struggling right now in this industry, who came into this industry maybe 10 years ago, came into it and things were working a certain way and things were consistent and they were on sets and things were fine, and then things just stopped. And it's not because their ability is not there, it's not because they don't have enough drive, it's literally because of the state of the industry after the pandemic, post strike, the opportunity shifted for them, and now there is no longer space for them. And so I think it's very easy for you to say, as someone who has already reached something that people can look back on and say, oh, everybody hates Chris. Oh, you did this really cool thing, Survivor's Remorse. Whether you sell another show ever again or not, which we can both agree, we've been in the room where it's been hard to sell a show in this time for even you. So it's like to say for someone who maybe didn't reach that plane yet that, oh, well, maybe you should just go home. That sounds unfair because it's hard for everybody. It's even hard for an
but
Emmy
I
Award winning
didn't say that.
showrunner. That's what it
I didn't
sounds
say that,
like.
right? And this is what I'm saying. I didn't say that. I didn't say just go home. When I'm saying something isn't for you, that means reassess who you are, what you want, why you want it, and what you're willing to do to get it. Because this industry and nobody else in competition with the space that you're trying to get in could give a fuck what your problem is, whether you sad, whether you broke, whether you couldn't get there this week. I was at COVID, I had cancer, I couldn't go do the directing gig. They did not shoot the show because I wasn't coming. My father died before we did Everybody Hates Chris. They gave me 2 weeks, and then they're like, hey, how you doing? And I'm not insulting anybody attached to the process. I'm saying when the motherfuckers say the show must go on, they're not kidding. They are not fucking around. The show must go on, right? And so the mentality about the people who attach themselves to this beast called show business, realize, embrace, and understand that. And sometimes, like when fucking Doughboy told Trey to get the fuck out the car, like, hey, man, this ain't for you. You don't belong here, right? And that happens. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's no shame in that, because you may just need to figure out how you relate to this space, what you truly want out of it, what you're actually willing to do to get it. I'm not on a fucking podcast because I think it's just the coolest thing in the world to do. If I could be on a movie set right now, I guarantee you I would be. And
Oh,
that
we
wouldn't
would
say
both
I would
be.
not. I'm saying I'm not saying that I would not do a podcast. I did one before. I like it. I think it's cool. Exciting shit is happening in this space, and I'm excited by that. And so
Hmm.
I do want to come to it and bring something to it. But you know good and well before we stepped into this, I'm like it took me a long time because I'm going. I don't know if I want to be in there.
Hmm.
I'm not sure because the last fucking thing I want to do is get in here, say some shit, can of worms open up. They be on my ass like that British dude over there talking about Michael Jackson is more famous, Beyonce is better than Michael Jackson, and it ain't so bad that they call him nigga at the BAFTAs, whatever that guy is. They smoking his ass right now,
Hmm.
and he may or may not be disingenuous. I don't know him like that, but it bubbled up to where I saw it, and I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, I've been misunderstood, or I've said something in a way, and I just want to be able to own what I say, show up, in a genuine fashion in whatever space I'm in, and take the hits that come with fucking being in the room. And when I'm saying that it ain't for you, it's okay. It might be you might have to just figure it out and come back to it, right? And come back to it with a fresh perspective, or come back to it with an open mind. It took Jill Scott fucking 10 years to put out an album.
Yeah.
She's sitting there looking at everybody singing. Rihanna ain't put one out yet. She's like, you
Oh,
know what?
Rihanna. She'll give us a
Don't
baby
tell
name
Rihanna
album
could
before she gives
fucking,
us an album.
fucking Andre the 3000 put out a whole song of flute music. He don't even play the flute.
Which was a really good album, by the way. It's really good to fall asleep to if
I
you
got
haven't
it. I
tried.
have the vinyl. I
Yeah,
bought the Andre flute vinyl.
whatever it's called. But no, I
But
get
you
what
know
you're
why he's
saying.
doing that? He don't. It's not that he don't want to make a ton of money doing Outcast. That motherfucker went out to Coachella and they acted a fool. He's like, you know what? I'm, I'm
Back to the
done.
flute.
Big
Back
boy,
to the
you can have
flute.
it. Go ahead. They like the way you move. I'm the fuck out of here. Where's my
I
flute?
would love for him to come back there
You
to
niggas could
wrap it
catch me
up.
at the dry cleaners.
Like I, I do think that
Motherfuckers
you
be
have
bumping
to.
into Andre 3000 in the subway. That must be the flute.
He ain't gonna be playing no flute, so don't do that to him. But I do think you have to find a way to pivot. You do, and we
I'm
talked
playing the
about
flute.
this. I
You
see
just
you
gonna
playing
ignore.
the flute. I'm not ignoring you. I thought it was over. Like Ali, please, please.
Andre
I
3000 said hip hop is not for me. I'm out.
Yeah, and you playing that flute is gonna be that clip that circulates and gets you canceled. Keep playing, keep playing. But I do
I'm not
think you
trying
have
to
to
dissuade your
find.
people. I don't want your people to be dejected. I
Well,
want your
no,
people
and
to
I and I
succeed.
and I and I agree, and I felt it myself. And so for me, what I had to do was look at it differently. It's like, okay, things are stagnant, right? And I work in the entertainment industry, and I even see in these pitches that we're pushing shows where it feels like we're pushing it up a hill and it's not moving, and it starts to wear down on you. And I'm seeing it in acting, and it just feels like there's not a lot of opportunities and things like that. So what other things can I be doing? Can I be creating my own stuff? How can I fulfill myself? How can I fulfill my creativity? Whether it's through a podcast, whether it's through social media content. It's not about, to me, stopping the forward push of your artistry. It's just thinking differently in terms of how that artistry is going to reach the masses. It may not reach the masses through this traditional lens that we had thought it would.
Right.
And I think that's okay. And it might be like in my terms, I'm like, okay, maybe there's a relocation, maybe there's a new energy that I need. Let's see what's going on in a different market, like whatever. But you have to look at it as not a woe is me, oh, I hate this beat down thing. Yes, I do think that should not be your point of view, but I also understand being pissed. I get it. If I went to film school and you come out here and you had this thought process of things going a certain way and it's not, and that would piss you off. And LA is not cheap. And so you're out here spending 2,000 plus for a one bedroom apartment in some shitty neighborhood in Hollywood, and you can't get an acting role outside of a vertical playing someone's mistress. Yeah, I get it. You have a right to be pissed off, but you also have a right to still want it, because half the time anybody that comes out to LA and deals with what we do, or even Europe, I've lived in both places in shitty apartments, anybody that does that has a certain level of crazy and tenacity, where you telling me to go home is going to piss me the fuck off. Don't tell me to go home. Don't tell me to go home. I'm not going home. I'm not going home until I make it. And whatever that means, because half the people that go home to me, I feel like, did not have the strength to endure the struggle. You have to endure the struggle. And we are in struggle bus city right now in LA. We struggling out here. So
Did you see this?
I don't know if that's clocking or if that's the violin.
That's the tiny violin.
I feel like
That's
I feel like you don't understand my pain. I feel like you don't understand my pain, and you should, because listen, Ali, you were going through it. It may be different. Like, you can never sell a show again, and it would still be Ali LeRoi accolades that you have already. But I'm pretty sure you would like to sell another show. I'm pretty sure you would like to show on another show.
Yes.
You would love to direct something else, right?
Yes.
So is there a way that you don't feel fulfilled right now because it has been a gap in time of pushing these projects?
Yes, absolutely. Like, it is incredibly challenging to go into the market, and you've been on a billion pitches with me, and we've had great A-list talent attached. We've had great IP attached. We've had all these sorts of things, which in another market at a different time, would have sold
Yes,
for whatever
absolutely.
reason.
Yeah.
However, we are not in a different market at a different time. We're in this market at this time. And so I have sometimes gone into meetings wanting to think of, how this could be great and all of the things about a project that I loved. And sometimes I've gone in not asking myself, who wants this? Why do they want it? Who wants to make it? How does it fit into what they want to do? You have to ask all of yourself these questions on top of, why do I want to make this, and why do I want to get it out to the world? I got to ask the people that have to spend the $250 million what they want, right? And then we have to figure out if we, if we share enough ideas that we can go on this journey of the show must go on together. Because even in the case of Baldoni and Lively, them motherfuckers got a full fucking Mandingo fight in the middle of this motherfucker, and they like, we don't care. One of y'all go anyway. We can put this movie out and we'll settle that shit later. So I'm just saying, like, yeah, I'm here honestly right now. I'm here on a podcast because this keeps me alive creatively. It gives me fresh ideas. It gives me fresh perspectives, right? Because I'm not the audience anymore, right? I'm creative, I got ideas, but nobody give a fuck about anything that I got to say. So if I can't say what I have to say in a way that appeals to the people that these folks want to sell shit to, including whatever fucking movie I might make, then I have to be in dialogue, I have to be in conversation, I have to be exposed, I have to be available to the interests of the people that I need to connect with. If I could be Woody Allen and make a movie for 8 old motherfuckers, and it just had a weird, and then, yeah, I'd do that, right? But I'm not. I'm this other guy, right? So I strive to stay creative. I strive to stay engaged. I understand now that it's not a bad thing to have two or three different lanes where you're functioning. That we're able to have multiple streams of income and multiple lanes of creativity, and that's embraced now. When I was coming up, all that was frowned upon. So
Yeah.
even if you can't get on, doing your short right now, you might be able to get on, if you're a musician or if you're a writer and you got a fantastic Substack and you turn that into something, or if you just come on and you do a interview podcast or man on the street, or you shot a fucking film with your iPhone and then you put it in the Slam Fest, and My man just shot a 90% of his film was shot with an iPhone. Jay Snow put it in Slam Fest. He just won the fucking
One,
competition.
yeah.
Amazing film, right? So I'm shooting some things right now and exploring with more visual material, even as an experiment, because I watched Jay in pain in the hospital, not getting the meds that he needed to help him fucking live. And that motherfucker up there, he got a phone and shit, documenting his struggle. And I'm like, God damn it, I have no excuse because I'm on his playing field. He's not on mine,
Yeah.
right? So if I'm going to compete and be exciting and be interesting and be creative and be valued and embraced in this world, then if he's laying on a fucking gurney making a movie, it's like, oh shit, that's what y'all doing. Okay, all right, I guess hey old man, I don't know what cast and crew you waiting on. You better
So
go
yeah,
outside
so
and turn that
it's
phone on.
safe to exactly. So it's safe to say that the creators that feel like, oh, this industry woe is me, and they're pissed, are also probably the same people who are waiting by the phone for that old system to gear up again. And
Yeah,
if you
the
are that
old
wardrobe
system is not
stylist,
calling back.
go get on social media and start styling your friends. Like if you are that director, get out there with a writer and create your own vertical version
I'm
of
just
content
trying
and
to
post
tell
it.
y'all, if y'all see me out here hawking products and shit, don't be mad at me. Y'all started it. I just wanted to be at home.
So you see him doing makeup tutorials,
Hey, I'm gonna get
do
some hair
beard
cream or something. Get a
beard
little
dye
beard thing.
tutorials.
I'll do mock turtleneck ads. I wear a watch.
Yeah, and it's funny because you said nobody cares what you have to say, but your 55 plus fan club of women would disagree.
Hey.
Apparently, he's a sex symbol amongst the 55 and older
Yeah,
women,
yeah, yeah. And now are those aunties or auntie plus? What are they?
grandmothers,
Those are
grandmothers, and
grandmas. Oh, am I Mister steal your grandma if that other guy don't steal her first?
I don't know if you can steal my grandma. That's where you stealing her from. But I thought I was gonna be the sex symbol. Apparently not. Apparently not. Is Ali. But no, I think that's so funny. With everything with these young creators, though, do you have any words of advice? Because surviving Hollywood needs a strategy from your
I'm just
action
gonna say for
pack.
the record, if I have a choice, I prefer a 55-year-old woman.
Oh, you gonna put who you putting it out there for? Just for the record,
Just for the
55 and
record, if I
older.
if I had to choose between
Less stress.
all
Less stress.
all all of the crazy people who are younger than that.
That's what you need to be dating. 55 and older, or in
That's right.
that
I'm shit.
range.
Yep.
Yep.
Get you a nice fucking respectable,
Woman,
classy,
woman of a certain age. Less
woman of
stressful.
character of a certain age.
Because a 20 something will
Somebody
stress you out. I don't know if you got the energy for that anyway.
for what?
20, for what? Oh, 20 something? You can't
No.
be going to bed at
Let's just
7:30 with no 20
no,
something.
nobody,
Not even no
no.
young 30. I don't even have the energy for some of my younger 30 friends. It's too much. They be wanting to do too
No.
much.
Yeah, I know that there are guys who can take themselves seriously with that. I'm not one of them.
They try. They be trying. But I feel like the younger girls that date those really older guys, they let them think they're keeping up. They're not keeping up.
But you know what happens when you do that? You end up in one of them pairs of pants that's tight that have all the rips in it.
God forbid.
No, if you're an old guy and you're dating a young girl, you always end up in some clothes that you shouldn't be in. And you know how you see them. You know how you see the white women and they come around and they have that level of plastic surgery where you go, nobody's gonna say to them what their face actually looks like.
Oh, like they don't even look
because
at
her
themselves
husband's
anymore.
the richest guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So they just everybody just shuts up and plays along.
They start looking
Well,
like the
that's
cat.
what it like, there's always some guy, he's got the most money and he's got this young girl and his taste is awful. But nobody's gonna say anything.
Listen, ladies, I mean, do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Okay.
I'm just saying.
I mean, to each his own. But we have any advice for those creators trying to survive Hollywood this week from Ali's action?
Got a little action pack. All right, so with demands, I'm looking at my notes here. Um, yeah, well, what can Manza do for you, right? Um, yes, they can get your product, out to the masses. But before you go in and meet with these people, you should do some research on who they are wanting to reach. If they have budgets, what type of budget they want to spend, if they have particular content lanes, know what they're trying to accomplish so that when you go in, what you're doing is presenting them with something that matters to them. Because in the show business of Dodge that I've coined recently, they're not trying to help you. They want you to help them. So go in with something that they can use and then bring whatever leverage you can to the table. Research your own work. If you have IP, register it, trademark it, copyright it, whatever it is. If you have numbers attached to it, have that on record, have it for a period of time. That's something that they can actually make sense out of. When you're talking about, I put it up last week, I got, 1 million views. Like, that's nice. That's not enough. That's a one off. Jerry Bruckheimer had to make $300 million grossing movies before they believed that he was actually a good producer. So if you're bringing your track record in, show your consistency, show your product, show the receipts, right? And I guess last thing is be creative. Don't be ashamed to understand that you might not be doing the right thing. Or you might be trying to do the right thing, but you might be going about it the wrong way. I'm saying if you are not achieving the success that you think you ought to be achieving, there's a reason. And so don't take it on the chin and be emotional about that shit. Look around, see what people who are doing what you think you want to do, how they're accomplishing that. Judge yourself against what other people have done to accomplish their goals, not what the goals are themselves, right? Did they research it? Did they talk to people? Did they get partners in it? How did they go about getting their shit on? And what's in your way? Are you not talking to the right people? Are you not positive enough about the work that you're trying to do? Do you not speak the language of the people that you want help from? Right? Those are the things. So when the whole, it might not be for you, if you're not willing to apply yourself to learn all of that shit and suffer sleeping on the floor and whatever embarrassing, hard, difficult shit comes with this, that's why it might not be for you. But take those
Sleeping on the
cues.
floor. Why you gotta be sleeping
Take
on
the
the
no, take this
floor?
shit, put it in your pocket. I
Ah,
should be charging people for this. I
okay.
should be charging
I
people for
feel
this.
personally attacked, and I'm not sleeping on the floor. I have a queen bed. Thank you very much.
Well,
But
and you know what? And if you feel attacked, that's good. If you feel attacked, fantastic. Because now what that means is either you're uncertain about something. If you feel attacked, that means you're uncertain about something, right? Just uncertain. Am I doing enough?
yeah,
That's the
I mean,
question
yeah,
you
I
might
think
be
that's
asking
fair.
yourself.
Am I doing enough? But yeah, when you say don't get emotional about it, it is. It's. I also feel like it's difficult to not. This is people's dreams. It's people's dreams, and it is an emotional thing to feel like okay, maybe I need to put it down. It's an emotional
Well,
thing. I
and
think
again, you keep hearing, and I want to reiterate this. I'm not saying put it down. I'm saying reassess.
reassess and put down the way that you thought it was going to go is what I mean. In
Right, release your expectations,
mhm.
and then begin to deal with your realities, because your expectations and these ideas and these dreams are concrete, and so you're trying to force your way to a destination that might not even exist,
Exist, and it
right?
might be a
And
better
so what you're
destination than
doing,
what you
be in the space, be present, be where you are, understand what you want, why you want it, what you're willing to do for it. And then when people present you with action items, or some things that you can actually apply, try them, go back out into the world and start to find your fit. That's why I'm
Yeah,
saying I call it the action pack, because it's like, here's something you can do. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I do know that you're not going to make a mistake by doing any of these things.
yeah. Do that. Don't do nothing. I love that. Okay, I'll take that. What are you watching? Oh, and I finally did see Relationship Goals, and I counted 27 times I saw that book or that book was mentioned.
Did you buy a copy?
No, because I feel like they gave me all the good quotes from the book. I basically read it when I watched the movie. Why do I need to read it again?
So just to be clear, how'd you like Meth and Kelly together? Was they a good team?
I thought Kelly was super cute. Um, she's super cute, lovable vibe to her. I mean, like I said, outside of the fact that it was one long commercial, it was a cute, movie. It just I found the
I
obnoxiousness
was not
of
mad at
that.
relationship goals.
No, I mean it was just a little obnoxious. How often we mention the reverend or preacher or whatever, and how often
It's not worse than that guy uh Fall from Grace, sitting there at the table in the back drinking a fake glass of water.
I don't even think I noticed that. I think I was too focused on the wig and Fall from Grace to notice anybody drinking water in the
Yeah,
back.
I'm just saying.
The wig and the movement of the wig.
And I'm gonna say this out loud because I believe it's like, sometimes I think Tyler just be fucking with us.
Oh,
Sometimes I think he'd be like,
I hope
"Hey,
so.
hey, watch this."
I hope so.
I'm gonna throw a dummy off the roof and see what they say.
I hope so. I hope it's like a genius, like
He's
evil
like,
genius thing
watch this. I'm gonna change her hair
versus an
entirely, and then
oversight. Yeah,
I'm gonna see what they
mid
say.
scene.
Tyler Perry has a
Continuity be
pool.
damned.
He's got a pool in his office as a board, and then he points out all the things in the movie that he did that was wrong, because he knows he put them there on purpose. And then and then they bet on
It's like the
which thing
Starbucks
people will see first.
cut
I
left
got
in
the
the
wig for
in the
$25.
table.
I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
dummy off the roof for I got guy drinking the water for $50.
No, I mean, I thought it was a well put together, well written, cute, cute concept. It was cute, but it was one long commercial, and at midway through, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to start. I'm just going
You know
to
what I
keep a
like?
tally of how many times I see this thing. But
Here's what I think is great. I think it's great how, despite the fact that I was off on a tear about Tyler Perry and his pool about the things he does in his movies that don't make sense, that you just continue to talk about relationship goals. You're like, hey y'all, just don't pay him no mind. He's
Listen,
go.
I am.
Don't listen to
I'm
him.
trying to spare Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry's a lot going on. I'm trying to keep his name out of my mouth right now. But
I'm talking about the pool in the movies. I'm not talking about that other
because
stuff.
you watch his movies, I don't watch his movies enough to notice all those things. I did notice the wig from Fall from Grace. I don't know the pool. I don't know which movie you're talking about.
It was a whole riff. It was hilarious. I was making it up on the spot.
Was
I was
it
keeping warm.
hilarious? Was it
You were
hilarious? Was it?
you over there. It was pretty funny.
Was it? Like, I- Sometimes your jokes be going over my head, and I'm like, okay, am I the audience for his jokes? Maybe his jokes are like 40 plus. I don't know. And
but
it
but
dismisses
that's
me.
like called. I'm like, it was hilarious. But was it though?
Because I mean, what's it? I don't know.
Like, it's awful because it's like, am it sounds like that could be an insult, but also now I'm being forced to consider my choices in life.
I'm really,
Like,
but I'm really
what,
asking.
what just
I really
happened?
want to know. I really want to know.
All right.
I do.
What am I watching?
What are
You
you
asked me
watching?
that a long time ago, and I'm going to tell you what I'm watching. I am watching Reggie IRL.
Reggie, I have to look it up.
Reggie in real life. It's on YouTube.
Reggie in real life.
It's and the guy's name is Sec, but he spells
Okay.
it like S with a dollar sign, like a dollar
Oh,
sign
okay.
SECK,
ECK.
the Sec channel. Yeah, Reggie in real life, Reggie IRL. It and like so, it's shorts. They're all like 2 minutes long,
Okay, tell
but
us
they're
about it.
just. It's just a guy. He's like a quirky guy, and he's shooting these little slice of life little vignettes, right? And he calls it like the tragedy of doing this. So like he's got like a little title that he uses on each episode. You know, the tragedy of borrowing $5. You know, the tragedy of showing up on time. You know, the tragedy of getting a parking spot. Those are not his
Mhm.
titles, but that's how they work. And they just do like these really clever, really dry, funny pieces. Like, and it really is an extension of the sort of world that my man built with Atlanta, Glover.
Mhm.
You know, just dry, witty. You know, a
Yeah,
little bizarre.
that kind of humor
You
is
know,
cute.
and it's
I
shot
get that
really
kind of
well.
humor. I get that one. The dry
Yeah,
witty.
oh, then you will like Reggie RL, and it's because it's the same kind of. It's an extension on that tone that they got with the Daria from Detroit, and even they cloned Tyrone. Like
Mhm.
there's a lane of comedy right now that I'm really loving,
Oh, I
and
gotta
this
check that
guy,
out.
like he would be perfect. I think Reggie IRL, they Mansa should call him up
And
and
just
do something
use
with
his.
him
Yeah.
because he's it's something great. And I'm watching one more thing.
Okay.
That's the series, but it's a movie. It's on I think it's on Apple. You know who Khalil Joseph is?
No, hold on, let me look.
Filmmaker, visual artist.
Khalil
Uh, his
Joseph.
his brother, if I'm not mistaken, his brother was an artist that passed a few years ago. Was the founder of the Underground Museum here in Los Angeles, Noah Davis.
Mm.
Uh, and Khalil Joseph has done some visual work with Flying Lotus and Kendrick Lamar.
Premiere between
Um,
us. Okay, flying low
yeah,
until the quiet comes.
yeah,
Got it.
yeah. Yeah, and he's got this film on Apple called Black News, BLKNWS. It used
Mm-hmm.
to be an installation. There was a version of it that was an installation at the Underground Museum when that was still open here
Mm-hmm.
in Los Angeles. But now it's like a feature length film, and it's just it's experimental visual art feature length, um and it's just a great lens to look through. I've been looking at a lot of visual art lately. There's an exhibition in Los Angeles. I don't know if it'll still be open when we run this, but Arthur Jafa has a couple of pieces over there. It's just another lane, an artistic lane of filmmaking, as opposed to traditional narrative film. And I love great imagery, and this is that. So Reggie
Okay, so
IRL and Khalil
Black
Joseph,
News,
what you watching?
BLK, NWS. I'll have to check that out. And then what's the YouTube series again? So I can
Reggie IRL,
Reggie.
Reggie in real life.
All right, I'll check both those out. I finished Hijack, and I was disappointed. Have you dived back in? I know you started it.
What would
Hijack.
y'all? I watch what? Hijack.
Hijack.
Season one was better because they were in a plane and the plane had to land.
Did you watch the
Hijack
whole
season
thing?
two.
It was
Yeah,
disappointing.
yeah,
To me, it was.
yeah.
It
Well,
felt like, and I wasn't it supposed to be a limited series, and they made it come back because it was so popular. It felt like it wasn't thought
we,
out. It felt
well,
like they said, "Let's just
you
get
know.
this back on the air," and we didn't actually think about how or why or when. It was the
Well,
story
no,
was.
no, they did. They sat down, they came up with something that they thought was a pretty good idea, and they did that. And it's not a bad idea. It's just that how in Speed Two they were on
Mm,
a ship, and the
yeah,
biggest problem with that is that ships aren't fast. So when you have to keep a bus going 60 miles an hour, it can't go slower than that. People understand, oh shit, a vehicle is on the ground and it has to go 60 through a city in a bus or a bomb. Wow, I get it. And they go, all right,
yeah,
we're going to do that same thing, but now we're going to do it on a cruise ship. You mean in the middle of the ocean where there's nothing to hit and it'll just sink?
yeah. It was missing
And
that
that's
level of.
hijack.
It was missing that level, and it could be because it's on the subway. Because there's so many times I'm just like, why aren't they just getting off the train? And I understand like
There's
with
only one
bombs and
problem.
whatever.
There's,
What's the
there's only
problem?
one problem. It wasn't in a plane.
I mean, I my problem with it, to me, the subway didn't bug me. Although I do think that, are we going to keep finding new modes of transportation to hijack, because
No,
that's,
but this is what
to
I'm
me,
saying.
going to
See,
get boring.
you know what a hijacking is on the ground. It's a hostage
The
situation,
hostage situation. So it has to be some
right?
sort of thing that we take over. There's only so many modes of
Right.
transportation. We're gonna hijack a motorcycle, a bike next time, a trolley.
But again, but
I just,
that's
it was
right.
just a lacking.
I'm just saying it's called hijack, but you just have a hostage situation, and
Yeah.
you want it to be a hijacking because it's a train, but that's not the same as like a carjacking. Because in a carjack, you can
It's a
take the
car.
car someplace that it doesn't want to go. On a train, I don't know what type of hijack this is because
But the fact that it's on the subway is not what bothered me at all. It's the fact that there
that's
was
what
no
bothers
girl.
me. I'm on the train.
Okay.
I'm on the 6th line. Take take me to Staten Island. I'm sorry, man. We can't. I'm on the A train. I'm like, take me to Jersey. I, I'm
I mean,
sorry, man.
I lived
We
in New
got
York, so it's
we're on
like I do
tracks.
understand the whole premise of being on the subway. I've been on the subway in New York when it's in the
I
middle
don't.
of the tracks with all the lights off. It is a scary thing. But what was missing for me is, I still don't understand the bad guy. I still don't get what they want. Who is the person behind all of this? It just still feels like this weird unanswered question. And then you're getting a confession of the guy in jail. Spoiler alert, he's already in jail. That's so anticlimactic. Like, he's already in jail. Now we're getting him more in
So
jail.
you
Like,
know what so hijack um reminds me of a not as good version of the first series, The Bodyguard. You ever see The Bodyguard
the first
on
series, The
Netflix?
Bodyguard. No, I don't think I
Yeah.
saw that.
Bodyguard, Netflix. It's a British guy. And he
Bodyguard.
starts off his show by thwarting some kind of terrorist attack. And then he
Okay.
ends up bodyguarding a high profile politician, and hijinks ensue because things are not what they seem, right? Okay, it exists kind of like in the same space as that, but again, I'm just like I've been cracking jokes, but I'm 100% serious. The biggest problem with your premise is that the very notion of the thing you're suggesting is something else. You said hijack. We don't hijack trains. Trains are on tracks. They can only go from one point to another. Even if you wanted to force somebody to not stop at a station, it's not quite the same as a hijack because nigga, where you going? To the end of the line. We'll wait there.
Yeah, yeah, there's only so many places
Right?
you can go.
When you hijack, like I can carjack you because I can hop in your car and tell you to go someplace where no one is expecting you or no one wants this car to be. I can do that. You can't do that on a train. So that fights the premise, and now you're dealing with a a twisty turny hostage drama,
Yeah.
but they did that with Inside Man.
Yeah, but I think it's okay for it to be a twisty turny hostage. It does it to me, even though I know you named it
I do
hijack, and
too, but don't call it
probably.
hijack.
Yeah, but I think when they made it, they thought, this is a limited series. We're going to hijack a plane. We're going to do this series on it, and we're going to end it. And then people wanted it to come back, and so now it's the whole idea of, okay, we're back season 2. We called it hijack. We can't hijack anything else. We can't do a plane again. So how do we continue this and make this cool? And I just think that there was just things that they missed. Like, for me, if I was developing the show, I would have focused on the bad guys. Like, we got to see that family unit, but we didn't understand or learn why they are hijacking planes in the first place. I would love to know that. Can we focus on them and
You
then
know what I
bring
would have
us
done?
back? What?
Guess what I would have done? I would have done two
You
things.
took not putting it on the subway is one.
I would have called it something else, and I would have changed Idris Elba's name, and then everything else could remain the same.
Yeah, but like, the show is already out as hijack. So what would you make it a
If you just call it Stop That Train, and instead of whatever his name was Larry Jenkins, and then it was like
what?
it'd be this mystery about a guy whose kid was killed in some circumstance, and somebody else wants it. Just would have been a mystery. You know,
I don't
like the
know.
taking
Or
the
we
color
could have
123 or
hijacked
something.
another plane, but instead of a commercial flight, maybe we're hijacking Air Force One this time, or just made it like, I don't know, just a different circumstance.
They
I
did
don't
that.
know.
That's Jamie Foxx's movie. You were getting confused.
Oh, well, I mean, we making the
Or
same movie
Morgan
over and
Freeman.
over again. You know how this
Jamie
is.
Foxx and Morgan Freeman played the president. Morgan Freeman played the president twice.
Yeah, I don't see them coming back for season 3. Do you?
Season 3, they
Hijack.
could if they get in the car. They call it carjack.
They're not going to change the name of the show.
They call
They're not. I feel like you're tied to these transportation
Did you ever see Dirty
methods.
Harry? You ever see the movie Dirty Harry? Dirty
Yeah, but
Harry.
a long, long time ago.
Right,
Why?
because
What's the
you know what
reference?
happened in that movie at the end? The
Remind me.
killer, Scorpio, hijacked a bus. See, because you could take a bus, the bus was supposed to be going to one place, and he got on the bus with a gun and he said, go someplace else.
They're
And then
probably going
that
to
he
hijack the
hijacked,
bus. They're saving that for season 3. They're going to do the bus next. Because
he
they got the
hijacked the
bus at
bus.
the end. So right, hijacked the bus. It was a disappointment. And then to me, the last episode was the worst. But so I needed to wrap that up. So that's what I watched this week. I finished that
You
up. And
watch
now I'm
hijack.
about to
Well, I'm
start on
sorry you were
Paradise.
disappointed.
I am. I'm about to start on Paradise though, so I'm excited about that one because season 1 I really liked, and it seems
Is
like
he
season 2 is
he's a
starting to start.
guard or something on that movie show?
He's a Secret Service agent, but the world has ended, and so now, yeah, he
The
was a
world
Secret
is
Service
ended. There's
agent.
no world. What happened?
Paradise? You've seen Paradise?
Yeah. No.
You should. Sterling K. Brown. You should
Yeah, I
watch it.
know he's on it. And then that other guy, James something, James
Yeah. So
Marsden.
yeah. So Paradise he's a Secret Service agent for the police for the president, and the whole world basically ends, and now they're in this underground bunker, and it's a world that they've created for the 25,000 survivors, but maybe the world actually didn't end, and that's what we're finding out now. It's really good.
Okay.
We open up with the president being dead, and we're figuring out who killed the president in this underground bunker where there's no weapons at all.
All
Something
right.
is awry, something's amiss, but it's good. So I'm starting season 2 of that. Um, and yeah, that is what I'm watching this week. But which you got an exhibit coming up. You got a few things coming up we want to tell the people about. You want to?
Yeah. For this will be my third solo exhibition. This one's called Everybody Hates Exhibitions. It's it's an investigation. I'm an
Okay.
artist. I don't know what people really think of, but I'm actually an artist. The photos
He's
are
sensitive about his
from my
shit.
time. The photos are from my time at Everybody Hates Chris,
Hmm.
off stage, backstage stuff. But the thesis of the show is about just my connections to family and disconnections in my own family. So yeah, it's got an artist statement and everything. Los Angeles Center of Photography. That'll be in April until June.
April, and the opening night is April 2nd, right?
Yeah. Yep.
April 2nd for the opening night of
I'll
that.
be there.
You'll be there. So have your scripts
Yep.
ready to hand
I know,
it.
right?
So that's good. If you have any sort of questions or topics that you want us to cover, we definitely need the feedback. You can always send an email to askintheroom@gmail.com. That's askintheroom@gmail.com. Or also put your thoughts in the comment section. We will be streaming live the Oscars on March 15th.
All right. Well, I'm actually I gotta go. I got another meeting I'm supposed to be in.
We both gotta be in that meeting actually. I didn't realize I was gonna be talking to it. All right, join us next week.
All right. We out.